word ultra, by definition, it means an extremist, basically meaning that you can't go any higher. So what if you were to put that name on a product and label it? More specifically, the S20 Ultra. Okay, so what we have here is the S20 Ultra. The last word surprises me. Does it really deserve the name Ultra? Meaning the extremist? Meaning one of the highest? You can't go any higher. I've been thinking, maybe the Ultra comes from the name the huge battery life, or maybe the revolutionary screen, or maybe the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Or is it just because of the $1,400 price range? So this got me thinking, does the S20 Ultra really deserve the name Ultra? So I've been reviewing this phone for the past couple of months, and I'm going to tell you in this brief video. Okay, so let's start about the outside. The color is pretty dull, but I like this better than the gray version, which is a little bit more dull. Here I got the cosmic black version, and when you look on the back, you can see that big elephant in the room, the huge camera bump. But of course, you can get a case and replace that sound. But also looking on the back, we can compare this to the other models. For example, the S10. We can especially look at the cameras on the back of the phone. The cameras are dramatically changed from right over here to right here. In the back, we can see that it actually Samsung engraved it, the 100 times space zoom. Also, we can see the 4 other cameras. We'll talk about them soon, but first, before we do that, we can talk about the 40 megapixel selfie camera. Yeah, the 40 megapixel selfie camera. You probably expect a 40 megapixel camera in the front, but it's actually in the back. And surprisingly, the back has 108, which was really revolutionary when they first introduced it. But the surprising thing is that most phones like the Google Pixel only has a 12 megapixel. But megapixel doesn't always mean the best quality or the best pictures. We can see that there's the hole punch cutout. Well, the dramatic thing is that the phone used to have the hole punch cutout on the side from the S10 lineup. Now they centered it into the middle. I feel like that was a bold move, and instead of having the dual camera, I just like this one single camera, which works just as well. So also in the front, we can see that there's a stereo speakers right here, and there's ones right here. It sounds really good. When we open the phone, we're open to what I call the Ultra screen. It's the most revolutionary screen in a phone in 2020. It had the 8K screen, and it had the 120 Hz refresh rate. But the bad thing was that you couldn't use the 120 Hz and the 8K at the same time. So you either had to take the 8K and tone it down, or you just had to put the 120 Hz to 60 Hz. I would recommend putting it to 120 Hz because the refresh rate, you can really tell the difference when you're switching from an older phone like the iPhone, which doesn't even have the 120 Hz. So the reason why we can't do the 120 Hz and the 8K screen at the same time is because it drains the battery. So talking about the battery, this phone has a huge 5,000 milliamp battery. Yeah, a 5,000 milliamp battery, not the 4,500 milliamp battery you see on the AT, but a 5,000 milliamp battery. This is probably because of the huge screen and the 120 Hz, as I said before. But roughly, when I was using this phone, I got up to surprisingly 2 days battery life. But if you are a power user and you were to use 120 Hz continuously, you will get up to only 9 hours. But if you were to use the 60 Hz display, you'll actually get up to 12 hours, which is really convenient. Also, we have the 6.9 inch screen, which is the largest screen when it was released. And we also have even the Note 20 Ultra is still a 6.9 inch screen. Hopefully some phone breaks that 6.9 inch to the 7 inch barrier. But in the latest iPhones, we haven't seen it yet. So hopefully someone does it, probably Samsung. So now we can talk about the photo. Starting off, we have the front-facing camera, which is actually 40 megapixels. When I use the selfie, I can see that there's extreme good quality. For third-party apps, a surprising note is that they don't actually use the camera, they actually use the viewfinder, which is when you're taking a video, you can see that when you see the preview, yeah, that they're taking that whole thing and then using it as your camera. So if you were to take a picture, I would recommend using the actual camera, not a third-party app like Snapchat, Instagram, stuff like that. Let's talk about the back, the ultra part, this part. So the elephant in the room is the 108 megapixel camera. This was really surprising. It was first introduced, and when I took photos with the 108 wide angle, it was, I cannot complain. It was really good. It had a decent, really good quality, especially with 108 megapixel. And when we're taking the photo, for example, the photo I have here, when there's like when there are colors like orange, like surrounding the person, like for example, the photo I have here, it's really saturated sometimes. But from the S20 Ultra, it's only sometimes when I notice this, and it's probably mostly inside because there's that color around the person. The bad thing about S20 Ultra's camera is that it beautifies the person, but who doesn't want to be beautified? But sometimes there's limitations when you don't want that anymore. You probably want your natural skin. So that's the one drawback. But other than that, the 108 megapixel gives it a really good quality to it. And when you zoom in, you can't, like for example, the photo I have here, the AT, when you zoom in, you can see that the quality is lost when you zoom in. But for the S20 Ultra, you can still see that the quality is still there in its perfect shape. So that's a good thing. Next, we can talk about the 12 megapixel ultra wide. So this is the one thing I was really expecting this the ultra wide to be really good. But the bad thing was that it wasn't that good quality. So when you were to zoom in, you can see as the opposite for the 108 megapixel camera, details being lost. You can see that the software is being used to sharpen the image. Next, we can see that the 48 megapixel telephoto, that's the 100 times zoom in. They even inscripted on the back of the phone. The telephoto camera is really good. Samsung is really good at taking zoomed in photos, as I told you about the 108 megapixel. When you take in zoomed in photos, they're really good at it, as controlling the detail. It's pretty difficult to control the light as the subject is farther away, but in this photo, this is actually taken at least 20 feet away from the person, and you can see the quality is still decent. And finally, on the back, we can see that the 0.3 megapixel time of flight depth sensor. So this is one thing that Samsung has really improved, and I really like how they have the live focus. It's really decent, and the background is really blurred. You get many options now. For example, the black and white feature on the back, which is really good. The thing that I really love about it is the live focus video, which is done very well and actually detects the person very well. But other than that, that's it for the cameras. And to end it on that note, the S20, oh wait, sorry, the S20 Ultra, it's worth it. But if you were only worth it if you were looking to buy it when it was first released. I don't think it's a good phone to buy now, considering that we're going to 2021. I would rather look at the Note 20 Ultra, which is the latest flagship phone that the Samsung has. It takes like the weakness of the S20 Ultra and actually makes it better. So actually, I would have recommended this when you were first buying it, but now Note 20 Ultra. But for the people who bought it, it was a really good idea to buy it, especially the revolutionary everything, basically everything. That's why it has the name Ultra. So on that note, please don't forget to subscribe, and there's a link down below. Also, follow our Instagram page. There's also a link down below, and we'll be posting some photos behind the scenes. And if you guys are interested on buying the phone, there's also a link down below. And if you guys have any more further questions, you can also comment, and please like and subscribe. I know that many people who are watching this, I bet you guys are not subscribed, so please make sure to subscribe. Hit that red icon down below, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.